Hi everyone, it's Kevin McCorner here from Enterprise Lab, and welcome to an amazing edition of the League of Disruptors show. I am so excited about today. I tell you, I've got the one and the only Sean Whalen in the house today. I'm so pumped for today's show. I can't believe it. Been waiting to get this guy on the show. I met Sean Whalen back in March 2016, earlier this year, when we were both in the ring for the League of for the Gary Vaynerchuk event that Dan Meredith was hosting. Boom, boom, boom. What an amazing event. What an amazing guy. Ever since I heard him speak in that ring, I'm like, dude, you have to come on this show. Sean Whalen, what up, sir? How are you?
Good, man. I'm good. I'm fantastic.
Oh, God. How's it all going?
Dude, it's life. I cannot complain. I'm actually in my developer's office right now. We just got done with the meeting on a new tech company that I just launched about a month ago, and we're ahead of schedule. We're under budget, which is obviously a good thing. So today's a good day, my friend.
Oh, brilliant! I couldn't have picked it any better than in that case. Good
day. Yep.
I can't have picked it any other. So Sean, I know you've got lots of followers and in the US and stuff like this. I've got a lot of people in the UK that have been waiting for this show to come up. It would be really, really good for you to kind of kick off with who you are, a little bit about your background, how you got to where you are today, and what you're doing today as well. That would be really, really good if you could start with that.
We could spend 6 hours answering that one question, but I'll keep it brief for you, man. I grew up in a single-parent home. I didn't grow up with money. I didn't grow up with my dad around. I became an entrepreneur at a young age. I was always hustling. I was always grinding as a kid. I love listening to Gary Vaynerchuk stories about when he was a kid, because I did a lot of the same crap, so I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. Grew up, went to school. I ended up dropping out of high school, went back a year later, got my degree, and had a real job for a couple of years until I got fired from it and was like, dude, I can't do the real job thing. And so I went to one semester of college, said the same thing. I'm like, dude, I'm sitting here like listening to this guy making 50 grand a year, and I'm thinking about making millions and billions and ideas and businesses. And so, I didn't come down the path the typical way, and started a business when I was just in my early 20s, became really successful really quick, made lots of money, decided to have a midlife crisis. I don't know what they call them nowadays, but I decided to burn my entire world to the ground. I left my marriage, I left my business. Wow. Literally, we had done just over $20 million the year before, and I walked in one morning with a piece of paper that turned my entire company over to my partner. I took no cash, no equity, no stock, no anything. I literally just disappeared for about 2 years and kind of went on what I like to call my journey in the wilderness, where I had achieved what most call success. I had the house, I had the cars, I had the vacation homes, I had the boat, I had the wife, I had the kids, I had what most everyone considers success, and I hated life. I was miserable, and I couldn't figure out why. And so something just kind of snapped in my brain, and I decided to walk away from it all, and I left everything, and I moved out of a huge house into a 2-bedroom condo, and spent about 2 years trying to figure out who the hell I was, trying to figure out what life was all about. Why was I here? What was the purpose of all this? That I had thoughts of killing myself. I had thoughts that my kids would actually be better without their dad around, because I had caused so much carnage, right? And had burned this business to the ground, and divorced their mom, and just went through this epic meltdown. And it was an interesting period of time. And so I made some good decisions within that window, and it led me to a path of discovery. It led me to a path of self introspection, just looking inside of me, like, who am I at, and where am I at? Who am I? And it led me to a really, really cool experience. And the title of my book that's going to be coming out soon is Your Mess is Your Message. And I think it's very appropriate and very fitting for me, because I realized that, like, what's helped me build the business that I have now, what's helped me grow Lions Not Sheep, what's helped me travel the world and speak in front of thousands of people is literally my story. It's my experience. It's my mess. It's the fact that I burned my whole fucking world to the ground and have rebuilt. How did I go from trading my kids at a police station with my ex-wife and having restraining orders and all kinds of shit to now being friends where we hang out? And how did I go from wanting to beat the shit out of her now husband, at the time boyfriend, to us being totally cool, How did I go from a bankruptcy, a $12 million bankruptcy, to now building a 7-figure business, So I don't believe in coincidence. I think everything happens for a reason. What we choose to focus on, is ultimately what I feel like the greatest lesson is, and why I had to go through what I went through. And a great quote from a man that I know is you are who you are today because of the choices and decisions you made yesterday. And for a long time, I was like, dude, I made all these bad decisions. Look at all this shit that I did. And then all of a sudden, like, I kind of woke up to, what if that's exactly what had to happen for me to be who I am today?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be able to speak to it. I wouldn't be able to know what I know about economics had I not built a multi-million-dollar, 170 employee company and then lost it all. I wouldn't know what I know about communication and love and relationships had I not burned my marriage to the ground. I wouldn't know about being a father and a parent unless I went through spending 20 hours a day at the office and now realizing that I want to be riding horses with my daughter. You know what I mean? So it's a brilliant story, man. I love it. It's my story. I'm passionate about it, but everything happens for a reason. I am where I am today, and a lot of people judge it. A lot of people critique it. A lot of people like it. Either way, man, I haven't been this happy in years, and I think it's solely due to the fact that I'm just living my truth. I'm just doing what I want to do and what I feel called and compelled to do. And I can't complain, man. I cannot complain at all.
Well, I don't think you'd want to. I think with the life you just described that you're in today, and I think just going back, I've had a lot of people on my show who have had some form of controversy. They've had some sort of major loss. They've been on the brink or the edge of something, and that it's been that point of call, like you said, something snapped and said, "That's it." That's it. I mean, everyone that kind of gets into business in the earlier days, they all dream about success. They dream about the material things, the big house, all the cars, all these things. You got into this at a very young age. You built up a very successful business. Do you feel part of the downside of what was coming was based on the fact that you'd got there so quickly, and was it almost like there wasn't really much more that you could go out and get? I mean, you've got a 7, 8, 9, 10-figure business. You've got all these employees. You've built all this stuff. You've got the house. You've got the wife. Everything's going what looks like in the surface really well, but deep down there's something that's been probably eating at you, but you've been unconscious to it for such a period of time. And then I use the word loosely, but was greed a part of this? Do you think I need more? There's what else can I go out and get? What kind of attributed do you think to that snap, that snap point?
Yeah, I think everybody's greedy. I think that word has a negative connotation. I'm greedy. Sure. Everyone's greedy. I want more time with my children. I want more money in my bank account. I want better muscles and friggin' cooler guns and shit. Everybody wants more of something. So I definitely think there's a negative connotation of this word greed. Yeah. It's good to be greedy. You should be greedy. Everyone should be greedy. You should be greedy for more love. You should be greedy for more sex. You should be greedy for more connection. You should be greedy for more opportunities to serve. You should be greedy for more power, for more passion,
Yeah.
So I definitely think that, I wanted those things. I wanted to thrive. I wanted to grow. I wanted more money. I wanted more whatever. But I didn't do it based off of what I wanted. I did it based off of this, what I like to teach about and talk about now is this box that we're all kind of from the same era, unless you're like a baby boomer. We've been raised in a box. Our parents, our school teachers, our society, our government has been teaching us since we were little kids. Sit down, quiet down, slow down, calm down. Don't say anything that's going to offend anybody. Don't say anything don't talk about sex, money, religion or anything else. Yet here we are living lives where sex and money and politics and religion is what we deal with every day, but we can't talk about it. And so here I was, the image of success was cars. The image of success was a Rolex watch. The image of success was all these employees and being on the magazine covers, and that was success. But it wasn't making me happy. It's not what I wanted to do. And so I was putting in 20-hour days, and I was grinding, and I was chartering private jets and playing golf 4 days a week and doing all the stuff that was success. And at the end of the day, it wasn't what made me happy. You know what I mean? It temporarily on the outside, it was cool, right? And it was great, but it's hard to describe to people. It's hard to explain it simply because I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I wasn't fulfilled. And it was because I believed that I was living inside this box, which was, these are the rules. This is the rule of what success is supposed to look like. This is what, like, to me today, like, success to me is being able to go ride my horse whenever I want. Today, like, it's literally being able to buy whatever gun I want and go shoot with my friends whenever I want, to start whatever business I want. It's not what's in my bank account or what kind of car I drive. I mean, I drive a big black pickup truck.
Yeah.
I could go buy a sports car if I wanted to, and I might buy a sports car here soon. When I sell this app for hundreds of millions of dollars, I'll probably buy a bunch of sports cars, you know. But the reality is, like, what I'm finding more and more and more is the reason people are so unhappy, the reason so many men in particular that I coach through Lions Not Sheep and the Lions Not Sheep experience and everything else, is simply because we're getting to this arrival point in life where we have the cars, we have the money, we have the house, we have whatever, but yet we're fucking stuck in this box where I don't like it. I want to talk about shit. We just went through this here in the States with Trump. So, and I've been I called this, and you know this, anybody who's followed me on Facebook knows, I called Trump by a landslide. I called it since day one. But, you know, different story for a different day. But the reason people wouldn't put a Trump sign in their yard is because it was out, you're voting for this racist, this guy who hates women and the whole thing, where at the end of the day, we can't talk about sex, money, politics, religion, any of this other stuff. So what did I do? I just kind of hid it. And then when I got in the voting booth, I was like looking around and I voted for Trump, right? And so we're living these lives where men are not connecting with women, our own queens, our own wives, because we're scared to talk about our thoughts and our passions and our dreams. We're scared to start the company because we're worried about what other people are going to say. And this is probably one of the biggest discoveries that I've had personally, is like, most people are not afraid to fail. Like a baseball player is not afraid to get up and go to bat.
Yes.
A football player is not afraid to go for the pass. You know, a rugby player is not afraid to catch it on the wing and run. What we're afraid of and what we're terrified of is the judgment of other people. And it's this crazy discovery where I realized, like, my success was judged by everybody. I wasn't happy, but everybody else was like, dude, you're the shit, man. Hell yeah, keep going. I'm like, yeah, but why do I feel like shit? And so we've got this major disconnect between, you know, what we've been taught to think and to feel and what life looks like, and what's really inside of us, what's really boiling inside of a man. You know what I mean? This whole conversation today about men and women being equal, and all of us, but we're not equal. We weren't meant to be equal. I can't raise a baby in my belly. You know what I mean? She can't lift up the weight that I can lift. We're not equal. Like, we're all individual creatures that have fire and passion inside of us, but we've been taught to stay in this box, and this is what's safe, this is what's normal, this is what's okay, because then everybody else is okay. And yet the thing that I'm finding, and you saw this in London, when I asked how many guys had fucked some stuff up, and like all the dudes were kind of like, sheepishly, I'm like, no, bullshit, man. How many of you have like cheated, lied, stolen, committed adultery, whatever? And most of the dudes raised their hand. And I'm like, but how many of you feel like you're an island? How many of you feel like you're alone? Like, no one knows how bad my divorce really was. No one knows how hard it really is. And everybody raised their hand. And I'm like, stand up. You saw this. Stand up. Freaking 95% of the men stood up in that room. And so we're literally living this life of, I can't say anything, I can't do anything, I can't put the sign up in my yard that I want to put up because everybody else is going to have a problem with it. I can't say what I want to say on Facebook because my mom, my dad, my cousin, my coworker, my brother, my sister might have a problem with it. And so we're literally living these fucking sedated, neutered lives in this box, and we're miserable, which is why divorce is at an all-time high, which is why prescription drug use is at an all-time high, because people are fucking dying inside and they don't know what to do because they can't be who they want to be because of the box.
It's mind-blowing. Guys, I've got Sean Whalen all the way from the US online today. We've only got another 40 minutes left, basically. So if you've got any questions for my man, Mr. Whalen, he's the lion. It's not about sheep. So we're going to be talking about lions, not sheep.
There's a lot of them out there, man. I'm one of them. I love the honor of that, but there's a lot of lions out there.
There are a lot of lions out there. And we're going to be talking about how this all came about very, very shortly. So if you've got any questions, make sure you're putting them onto the timeline. I'll get them straight to Sean. Sean will, I guarantee you, he'll answer them. He'll drop the bombs, everything. Sean, we got to this stage where the snap has happened. You said that you kind of you gave up a lot. You gave up a lot. You know, I'm not just saying you walked away. You made this. It's a very hard decision. You know, you're walking away not just from the business and the money, but your family. You know, the feeling that you must have had within your heart, you know, that my kids are better off without me, though I shouldn't be with my wife, and, you know, all of these kind of things. And especially the fact that when your wife moves on and, you know, to her new relationship, the resentment and all these things, all these emotions kick in, and, you know, that can take a man to tipping point. You know, anything, any one of those integers can take you to a tipping point. But I just want to go through very, very quickly the journey that you went into. You put all this aside. You moved away. You downsized everything in your life. You went to almost back into this raw simplicity to go and search and find what it was that you wanted the most. That kind of 2-year journey that you were talking about in terms of what was happening, you know, in the earlier stages of this? Were you kind of in a darkened room, you know, trying to figure things out, or was it almost like a sense of everything is now lifted and you can see things a lot clearer? What in the earlier time of from the snap to your breakout, if you don't mind me asking, what were you going through? What was your emotion states, and what was the physical thing that you were doing?
It was dark, man. It was dark. I was angry. I was so fucking angry, but I didn't know what I was angry at. I was angry at her. I was angry at her boyfriend. I was angry at God. I was angry at my business partners. I was angry at my mom. I was angry at my dad. I was angry at everybody. I was filled with this anger. And I feel like what was happening now, looking back, is I was like expanding and like trying to break out, but I didn't know how to fucking do it. And so it was like tight and it was squeezing me, and I'm trying to fight my way out, but I couldn't get out, and there was nobody there, and nobody understood, and it was almost this like caged up lion, no pun intended, but just like I was just being squeezed, and like I fucking hated it. There was so much anger and rage inside of me, but it wasn't at one particular thing or one particular whatever, this lot in life that I was at, this space that I was in. Like, I have all this shit, why am I not happy? Why, when I was going to church and doing all these things, do now all these people think that I'm the devil and I'm bad and I'm this? Like, why all of this stuff? And I was really freaking angry, man. And you know, my tipping point came one night when I had called my ex-wife. And this is, I think, the difference between me and a lot of guys who are arriving into this masculine conversation and being really comfortable with it, is a lot of guys will talk about, like, we're meant, you and I were meant to be just these alpha males banging on our chest. Yeah. We're fearless. We never fucking cry. We never have emotion. Fuck everybody. We'll just tear the bitch. And that's how we show up. But really, at the end of the day, we go home and we're little babies. We're like little children. We're grown fucking children. And I'll happily admit that, because that's the fucking truth. And I'll never forget the night. I mean, this was the tipping point. This was the night that changed it all for me. Is you know, it was in my little shitty bed, my little house, my little condo, and I remember I was bawling. I was super emotional, and I just needed to talk to my ex-wife. I just wanted to talk to her. I don't know what I was looking for. I don't know what I wanted from her. I just needed to talk to her. I needed to, like, have her reassure me that it was going to be fine and that I was okay and that everything was okay. And I was just having a really, really, really dark night. It was a really bad time, and I was out with the girls and drinking and partying and just masking all of this pain. And that's what most dudes do. We'll mask with money, we'll mask with success, we'll mask with drugs, we sedate ourselves with alcohol and other women and cheating and lying, all in this effort to try and make this pain feel better. And I remember calling her, and she's like, "What's up?" And I said, "Hey, I just really need to talk to you." She's like, "I'm busy." And I knew that her boyfriend, who's now her husband, was sitting right there. I could hear him. You know, "Who's that? Who's that?" And she's like, "It's Sean." And I can hear him saying, "Hang up." And I'm like, "Look, Summer, I mean, this kid's 10 years younger. Like, there was a lot of drama, man. He lived in a little apartment with a bunch of roommates, and she was living in the big ass house that I had bought." Yeah. And, you know, there was so much anger and resentment. And I remember it's just saying, "Summer, I just need to talk to you for a couple of minutes. Just give me a few minutes. I just really need to, like, talk to you and connect." And she's like, "I'm busy. I don't have time. It just kind of blew me off. And I hear him laughing in the background. And I remember her just saying, "Look, I'll call you tomorrow." Click. She hung up the phone. And it was like this weight, like I felt like I had this, like the whole zoo, not just the elephant, the whole zoo was on my chest, and I physically, like, couldn't breathe. I was laying in this bed like, what did I do? Like, what the fuck did I do? Did I just literally, like, blow up my whole world? Like, I left my company, I left my wife. Like, what's happening? Why am I like, I didn't want to feel this way anymore. And I legitimately I stayed up all night, and it was one of the most profound, epic nights of my life, because I literally, you've seen the cartoons where you have the good angel and the bad angel on your shoulder. And I was literally justifying with myself why I should kill myself that night and why I should live. And it was this battle back and forth of, well, you know, my kids are young enough, and I was legitimately selling myself this story. Like, my kids are young enough that if I check out, she'll probably marry this guy, and they won't really know, and yeah, they'll miss dad for a minute, but then they'll have this bright future and this bright upbringing, and everything will be perfect in their world. And then the other half of me was like, dude, don't be a pussy. Like, you can do this. So you've been through some crazy shit. You were raised by an epic mom who was, you know, showed you like how to be epic and how to be you know, a warrior, and how to be a lion and how to overcome shit. And it was one of the most epic nights of my life, man. And I remember finally falling asleep, and I wrote someone had challenged me to write my thoughts and my feelings, and I wrote this massive thing that night, which I've only read one other time since I've done it. I know exactly where it is, and I only read it one time because it's dark. I mean, it was just this, almost like, people talk about the bottom, people talk about like ripping themselves open, and I think what happened was that was the night where like I had my coming to Jesus. It was like, dude, this is it. Like, this is the most intense pain that I had ever felt in my entire life. Like, I pray that I never feel that again. And I woke up in the morning, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to be angry. And what's really interesting is a lot of people hire coaches or mentors or whatever for a specific thing. Like, I want to scale my business. I want to learn to meditate. I want to learn this. And when I hired my first coach, which I thought coaching was a total scam, I was like, dude, coaching and mentoring, it's all bullshit. I don't need the rah, rah, rah. I'll just go out and do it myself. Like, I was a millionaire at 25. What the fuck are you going to teach me, right? And I'll never forget, like, the reason that I went and I finally made that decision is I was like, I don't need the money. I don't need the business. I don't need any of that stuff. I can't feel this way anymore. I don't want to be angry anymore. And that was my tipping point when I just chose. And I feel like that's why the universe has given me what it's given me and provided me with this, is that I declared, I'm like, look, I just don't want to be angry anymore. Like, don't shower me. I don't need the money. I don't need the fame. I just don't want to be angry anymore, because I don't want this feeling. And that night, I mean, until the day I die, I'll never forget that night. And it was the turning point for me, man. But I had to go down into that depth of hell, if you will, to really go on this quest and this journey that I'm still on, to really just go into to figure this out. You know what I mean? And I don't think I'll ever figure it out. But it's been a really beautiful experience. It's been a really phenomenal experience, and I feel like that's the reason Lions Not Sheep is growing, and why why I'm working with so many men and people, because so many people are stuck in this box and it's painful. It's becoming painful because we're expanding and growing, and we know that we should be over here, and we know that we want to be over here, but we don't know how to do it. And me going through that, I think, has helped me share my message with the world, and it resonates with a lot of people.
It does, absolutely. And I think one of the things that you talk about here is it was interesting when you were mentioning about the masking thing, that what people tend to do is they have this fear, they've got this anger, whatever it is that's affecting them, and from I wouldn't say just a man's mentality, but the mentality is, okay, brush it under the carpet, let's do something else, let's refocus on something else, think positive. How long can you think positive for? Until everything you look around you, the way you perceive things. You see, I'm a man that says that what we see, we produce a behavior towards. Our behavior produces an attitude, and our attitude influences our actions. So, the thing that I work on the most is, if I can change your view by 1%, I can change your results by 100. Because it's not me changing your results, it's you changing your results. Right. All I've done is steered you in a different direction and said, hey, look at this. But it's not from a positive perspective. Sometimes I have to take my clients through some hard-nosed facts and points for them. It's a point of realization, and
it's truth. Look, let's simplify it. It's truth.
It's true.
What I had been taught since I was a little kid, through religion, through school, through mom and dad, is the darkness, right? Like, we just need to be light. And so I feel this darkness, and I feel this anger, and I'm like, what do I do with this? I must have something wrong with me. There must be something wrong. And so what we do is we build this little room in the back of our psyche and our world, and we just shove all that shit in there, and we keep shutting the door, and it's just like your cabinets at home when you cram everything in, and then you open up the door and bam, everything falls out.
Yeah.
It's like we've literally spent our entire life taking the rage, the anger, the frustration, the darkness, the passion, and we've put it into this fucking box.
Yeah.
We do it in our marriages, we do it in our businesses, we do it with our children, we do it with ourselves, and like that's what's causing this explosion with men, with our society. This is the reason, truthfully, that Donald Trump won, not to go off on politics.
Yeah,
He's opening people up to truth. Yeah. He's like, I like women, I like sex, I like boobs, I talk about my penis. Well, guess what he just did? He just said what 150 million other men say, right? That's truth. And so we've built this culture where, like, it's this, we're caged up lions, and we want to get out, and we want to rage, and we want to, and there's nothing wrong with that. No. Because it's truth.
Yeah.
And this is why I love doing what I'm doing, is when guys come in and they're like, I fucking hate this, and I hate that. I'm like, dude, that's cool. That's truth. But what have you been telling your wife? Oh, everything's great. Have you ever told your wife or your pastor or your mom or your dad any of this? No, because they'd think I was crazy. And I'm like, what if you are crazy? What if everybody else is the one that's living in here? What if crazy is your normal? What if opening up this door is the key to your liberation? It's the key to your salvation. It's the key to your fucking happiness. Oh. What if that's the truth? What if opening up the darkness and saying, yeah, I do think about these things. Yeah, I do have thoughts of this and experiences of this. And yeah, some days I just want to fucking rip everybody's face off. But if we say that, we're like, whoa, hey, get this guy some medicine. He's crazy. Like, let's lock him up. Does the company have a therapist we can send him to? But yet every other man thinks about that. Like, there's days that you're fucking raging and we don't have anywhere to go because we're in this box. And as long as you stay in this box, you'll be fine. The second you come out of this box, you're fucking loony. We medicate our children because they're bouncing off the walls. No, the kid just doesn't like to sit for 8 fucking hours. I didn't like to sit for 8 fucking hours. So they pump pills down me going, sit down, quiet down, calm down, slow down. And it drove me into a rage. It's driving our kids into fucking rages. What's truth? The truth is exactly what you said. Inside of every man and every woman on this planet is light and dark. And as soon as a human being decides and declares that that's truth, you can become liberated. And that's what happened to me. Is I was like, dude, I don't want to be angry. And what my coach taught me, he's like, there's nothing wrong with anger, bro.
Amazing.
There's nothing wrong with it because it's truth. Now what do you do with it? And I'm like, wait a second, like, so it's okay for me to like express my feelings. It's okay for me to tell the world how I really feel. It's okay to say what's on my mind. He's like, what if that's truth? What if that's freedom? What if that's what life is supposed to be like? And you've seen kind of my social media journey. It started with one post of me admitting some truth, and then more and more and more, and it snowballed into this like thing where I want to go deeper in me. I want to go deeper into my soul and find out what's even what I haven't discovered yet, what I haven't experienced yet. And what we're living through right now is this cultural shift of us not being allowed to come out of the box. And men and women are fucking sick of it. We're tired of it. We don't like it. It's not comfortable. It's not making us more money. It's not increasing my sexual capacity. It's not helping my relationship. It's not connecting me with my children. And so people are kind of going, what do I do? And my simple answer for people is tell the fucking truth. How do you really feel? What do you really want? What do you really think? Well, I can't say this because I'll be judged. You're going to be judged either way.
Yeah.
If you're fat, somebody's going to judge you. If you're ripped and you're in shape, somebody's going to judge you. If you're rich, people are going to judge you. If you're poor, people are going to judge you. So why not live the fucking life you want to live? Why not share the fucking truth you want to share? Because guess what? That's fucking liberating. That's freedom. For who? Me.
It's amazing. I mean, guys, come on. I've got loads of comments that I've got to catch up with. I just want to say some hellos out there. Jeff Nemeth's in the house. He's already shared at Beju. Jack Darwell's here. Michael Heyman's joined us. Adam Cryson, Barry Ash, James Adelecki. We've got London, US. We've got Guatemala. We've got all places. I've got to take you there, brother. I've got to take you there.
Love to.
I've now set up in Central America. I've got to take you there. Robert Dean Smith said, Michael Hendrickson sent in a picture of a lion. Adam Adam Cry is saying, Sean, the story you shared at Meltdown and the brief conversation we had after that was extremely powerful. Stop lying and the lighthouse and the lifeboat were the two most powerful statements I remember. Stephen McCauley, meditation instead of seditation. Tyrell Christopher has joined us. He's saying, what's up? Stephen Morgan, your message and guidance is helping others, including myself, to change our lives for the better. James Porritt's on as well. James was on my show a little bit earlier on in the series. Basically, James is someone that came from a dark place as well. He's kind of rebuilt himself up again, and again, it's this absolute truth stuff, the thing that you're talking about, very much so at this moment. Shannon Karate, it's good to be crazy. James is saying he loves it. James Potter, absolute truth. Jermaine Harris is in. Michael Hendrickson and others are sharing the videos. James Green is saying awesome. Catherine Ann Blakey has just joined us as well. Sean, you have found the light. You've been able to break out of this box. Is this what was the setting for Lions Not Sheep? You've come. You are, as much as you've said that there are loads of lions out there, but you are one lion that's looked at this and felt this and been through it and experienced it and said, this is there are other lions out there that need this, and from this I'm suggesting that Lions Not Sheep has been born. And what was it like, to set up something like Lions Not Sheep, and how did you sort of really get it out there for people to start coming into you? Because as much as you have this situation where when they're with you and they're asking these questions and you're asking these questions back to them, they're sharing your frustration and say you're talking about the truth and the absolute truth and what if this is the life. I'm sure, and still even today, there is a layer of skepticism in the fact that what the hell is this? Is this just another Bible bash, basically, along the way? So, just talk me through the earlier days of Lions Not Sheep. You felt impulse that it's not just me, I need to explode this all over the world, or to as many people as I can. What happened? How did people react to you?
So I was actually just... the story is funny about how the shirt and Lions Not Sheep actually came about. I was on a website looking at a British clothing company. He's a bespoke guy, and he had something about like wolves, and they don't concern themselves with other animals and stuff. And I was literally sitting there, I kid you not, I was in the bathroom and I was looking at this thing, and it just hit into my brain, Lions Not Sheep. It just like as clear as like this laptop is in front of me and this phone is real. Like it just was like I just saw it. It was like Lions Not Sheep. I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. That's kind of catchy. I've always been a good marketer. I've always been a good promoter, whether I was doing real estate investments or house flipping or whatever. And so it kind of resonated with me for a couple of days. And then I called my buddy who owns a T-shirt printing company. I said, hey man, can you put this on a T-shirt for me? And he said, yeah, sure. Just send it over to me. Send over the design. I was like, I don't have a design. He's like, well, just come up with whatever you want. And I was like, okay. So I literally went online. I was like, fonts, how to find a font. And so I found this font that was like military-esque. And it just, I sent it over and I said, I want this font. I want it to look like this. And he said, okay, great. And, the next day he's like, hey, come pick up your shirt. And I got one shirt made. And I was like, that looks cool, right? I mean, it's just words. It's not like fancy or whatever. And I was wearing it. And I didn't have like, I mean, there was no company formed or whatever. And I had it I had posted a picture of me wearing it, and I got multiple messages like, hey man, that's a rad shirt, how do I get it? And so I called my buddy. I was like, hey, can we make more of these? Like, I've never been in the clothing business. I don't understand how it works. So he's like, yeah, we'll make more of them. And so I kind of thought, well, maybe I should set this up as like a company or something. Maybe this has some legs or some traction. Like maybe I could do something with this. I really wasn't in the coaching space. I hadn't been doing a whole lot of coaching or mentoring at all. Mm-hmm. I've been doing coaching and mentoring basically for free for years until I started having some coaches and mentors saying, look, man, what you're delivering to the marketplace is like, it's gold, And so to make a long story short, I formed the company and my buddy was like, hey man, let's start selling these shirts. And we said, great. So we set up a Shopify page and I started like just posting stuff and people started buying it and buying it and buying it. And then it kind of morphed into, I met with one of my coaches and my mentors and this was last year, in the early last year, 2015. And I was talking about business and where am I going? And I was doing a lot of real estate at the time. And that was kind of my forte. I'd done, thousands of real estate transactions since 2007. And I had gone through this 3-day experience, this 3-day program that ultimately helped me come out of my anger, which is the coach that I was telling you about and the whole experience. And I was in Austin, and he's like, why don't you do your own experience? And I was like, okay, that sounds kind of cool, but I've never done an experience. Like, I've never done a 3-day training, or what would I teach, what I do? And he's like, dude, just put it out to the marketplace and see what happens. And so I did one Facebook post and said, hey, if I did a 3-day training on, whatever the hell I want to talk about through Lions Not Sheep, who would be interested? I had hundreds of men respond, and ultimately I ended up interviewing guys, and I launched the Lions Not Sheep experience, and we had our first one, and I had no clue what I was doing going into it, other than share what it is that you know. Share your experience. What did you do? Like, how did you come out of the darkness? What did you do when you started making your discovery? And it was like, there's lots of hype and gimmicks and all kinds of bullshit in the marketplace, and I realized, like, what I know is me. What I know is what worked. What I know was the feeling I had that night when I contemplated ending my life. Like, I know what that felt like. I can recognize it. I can see it. I can feel it. And so I can see that in other men, and I can feel that with other men, and I can tell when men are lying and when they're sedated and when they don't want to open up. And ultimately what I did is I spent basically 2.5 years going through this journey of ripping myself open to truth. And the universe is telling me, dude, this is a skill you've been given. This is something you've been given, is to help other men do the same thing. It's not easy, it's not pretty, it's not quick. And that very first Lions Not Sheep experience just exploded, and it was like, I kind of felt that calling. I just was like, holy shit, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? What can I do with this? And truthfully, man, the reason that I put, this lighthouse on my arm and made it a permanent fixture is because the very first time I heard the story, it didn't resonate with me. It was like, oh, that sounds cool, lighthouse, tugboat, the whole thing. And then about 1.5 years later, I heard it again, and it just exploded in my brain. It was like one of the coolest, most unbelievable stories that I've ever heard, and things, and it just resonated with me. Like, dude, you have one objective in life, Sean. It's just shine your light. Yeah. And people will hate, people will criticize, they will talk about your bankruptcy, they'll talk about this, but like, there's so many men, there's millions and millions and millions of people that resonate with who you are and your story and your experience. And the second you try and go out and start saving everybody, you become a tugboat. Just fucking shine your light and shine it. And that's been kind of my commitment with social media, and everything that I do is like, just keep sharing with what's in my mind. It might be crazy, it might be sporadic, it might not be politically correct, but I share what's on my mind and what my truth is and my experience. And the tribe has grown and grown and grown, and the thing behind it all is Lions Not Sheep. It just seems to be what's on the front and what everybody loves, and I resonate with it. It's like, this is what I wanted to be last year when I was like, why have I gone through all of this? Why have I been given all of the, I look at it as a gift. Why have I been given all of this? What's the purpose of me going through all of this? What's the purpose of coming up with this name and this thought and this whole thing? And it's like, we're going through, and again, Trump is a perfect example of the lion. I mean, all of the sheep told him he couldn't do it. Yeah. He was like the last guy on the planet who could do what he did, and he fucking killed everybody. He won by a landslide. And so I look at that philosophy and that same thought process with all my clients, with this entire movement. Lions Not Sheep's not a brand. Lions Not Sheep's not a company. Lions Not Sheep isn't like a t-shirt or a freaking a beard oil or this or that. Like, Lions Not Sheep's a movement, man. I mean, it's a true movement. When I landed in London, when we spoke with Gary, I was walking through Heathrow, and some guy like, hey, you're the guy. And he didn't know my name. He didn't know Sean Whalen, but he's like, you're Lions Not Sheep. And I was like, hell yeah, man. 8,500 miles away from home. And I realized that there's so many men and so many women that don't want to be a sheep. They don't want to follow anymore. They're fucking sick of this. And they realize at some point in time, their card's going to get punched. Yeah. They're going to be out. Like, they're going back to whatever God they believe in, whether they believe in God or not. They're going to go someplace. And I think more and more people are waking up to the fact, like, if I've only got X amount of time left on this planet, I don't want to live it for other people. I don't want to be a freaking sheep. Like, I want to do what I want to do. I want to teach my kids what I believe, what I feel. I want to live the life I want to live. Like, there's nothing wrong with being wealthy. There's nothing wrong with having epic sex. There's nothing wrong with having a ridiculous connection. There's nothing wrong with sharing your political views, and yet we've been taught since we were little kids that you can't say any of these things. And so this entire movement, this entire revolution of lions awakening and fucking raging outside of the box and exploding the chains and ripping that door open and saying, this is who I am. Yeah. This is what I really feel. I feel like that's what Lions Not Sheep is, man. And with the blessing of social media, it's just grown like crazy, and we're over 170 million views of my videos, and I've done every video with this.
It's crazy.
I've done every single video with this iPhone. I've never done a green screen. I've never done the fancy shit. I've done every single message. 170 million plus views that we know of. Just with this thing right here, it's a freaking powerful time that we live in, man.
It is, absolutely, and I think just you hit the nail on the head. I was gonna say it is everything, but the pure part of what Lions Not Sheep is, it's a movement. You know, it started with you just pushing out and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do this," you know, and all of a sudden it's kind of, you put it out there, people started to come, and it's morphed into whatever it's morphed into. But the secret, you know, the soul of this is still back to your heart and the absolute truth stuff. And I think, you know, what's really endearing about this, Sean, is that you probably are unconscious to how many people you're touching, from, you know, in that respect of all of the world. Just even knowing that this kind of exists, even if people can't access it, it gives people this kind of spirit to say that there is something there, and one day something's going to happen to me. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. I just want to take some more comments because I've been finding, guys, please show your love for Sean Whalen. You know, get your comments in. He's only on for another 15 minutes, guys. So what we've got, I've got to keep it tight. James Green saying awesome. Catherine says you're a legend, Sean, and thank you for being so real. Wendy Malarsi said Sean is changing lives, mine included. So Shannon Coate, hopefully I've pronounced that correctly. Hashtag Den Proud. I see your brothers and sisters. Amanda Flickinga, okay. Sorry, it's me and my pronouncers.
This is part of the Lions Den.
Yeah.
So speak of coaching, and I pay a lot to my coaches.
Yeah.
And what I realized that there's more people that just can't do that. That they need little nuggets. And what I realized, what you said earlier, which was really brilliant, I teach all day long, which is the 1 degree change. I mean, if you can make 1 degree change, if you're flying on this airplane and you're going this way, if you can change 1 degree, you know, where will you be in 12 months? Where will you be in 18 months? And so last year, you know, all of my coaches said, don't do it. Don't offer an inexpensive program to the marketplace, because then it cheapens it and whatever else. And I was just like, bullshit, man. Like, I'm gonna do my own thing. And so I launched the Lions Den, which, you know, it's $100 US, which a month. Which, if you think about it in a coaching space, is like fucking insane. Like, especially with, anyways, you know.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's just like nothing in the coaching world. That's so inexpensive to get access to somebody who's, you know, teaching and coaching high level people.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We started it with 2 or 3 people, and it's grown. We have almost 400 people in the Lions Den right now, and I go live once a week like this with the tribe. And dude, it's honestly, like, no joke, it's one of the coolest things that I've ever done. Of all the businesses, like, this tribe of people, watching them level up, man, and me getting on every week and just sharing fire and my experience and my wins and my losses and shit that I'm thinking and feeling, and seeing these people resonate with it and then run with it, and getting messages from guys' wives saying, what did you do to my husband, right? Or getting messages from men saying, dude, like, I haven't had sex like this in I don't even know how long, bro. We went on date night and it was like electric. We haven't felt like this since we were 20. I can't explain it to you, man. I truly, genuinely, from like the bottom of my soul, like, there's something about watching another human being thrive.
Yes.
That I love. I'm passionate about it. And there's a lot of people that have inferior complexes that truly don't want other people to succeed, and that's how I was back in the day when I was building my company. It was like, I wanted to destroy my competition. I wanted to destroy everything. I had to be at the top of the totem pole to feel good. And I look at it now and I'm like, this tribe of people that are obviously on and watching and stuff, like, just seeing their little 1%. You know, we got some dudes that don't have very much money who went from, I added $100 to my bank account today. I'm like, because that's a fucking huge thing for them. That's a huge win.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, shit like that just is, I'm so ridiculously passionate about this. And the Lions Den is something that I started, and everybody told me not to do it, and I did it anyways. And it's become this like insanely, amazingly fucking awesome group for me that I love, man.
It is, absolutely, because as your core within what you do is at a certain level, it's not just about the accessibility, but the truth, the real impact. The real impact, I believe, is those that don't actually have Sean Whalen in their life day in, day out, and at a high level one-to-one coach, but just these drips of impact that come in and influence. And I think all your tribe here, they're here, they're supporting you, but they also know you're there, you're around them whenever they need them, whenever they need you, that you're there. The spirit and everything just seems to be I mean, you're creating fire here, brother, I'm telling you. So David Griffiths, Lions Not Sheep Brothers, Catherine Ann Blakey, you have been blessed, Sean, divinely gifted to change and impact lives. That's the why. #legacy. Jamie Alderton's in the house. Jamie. Your mess is your message. The strongest words I've heard from a strong-minded man. We can't wait for the book. We can't wait for the book.
I'll tell you this: the book's done. The book has been sitting in my email for almost 6 months. Like, I kid you not, people don't know this, but it's been done, and I just haven't felt that fire. I came out and I was like all ready to go, and all of a sudden the universe was like, no, dude, you're good. Like, do other stuff. You have the other things that need to be done first, which is what I've done for the last 6-7 months. But the fire's coming back to get the book done. But literally, the book, it's been done. The ghostwriter helped me write it. Like, it's literally sitting in my email, the entire freaking thing. So that's one of the commitments that I have, is that I'm going to spend the rest of the year essentially finishing it up, polishing it up, so that I can release it beginning of the year.
Well, that's going to be some seriously fluid reading there, brother.
There's some crazy shit in there. I'm not going to lie. There's some stories in there that are going to freak people out, because it's all. I mean, I share my story about Trump. I share my story about everything, man. Like, it's pretty. It's going to be intense.
Insane. Insane. Ryan Colby Roxburgh, everyone can relate, which is key. You're the man, authenticity at its finest. Murray Hicks, Sean, you're a breath of fresh air in the thick smog that surrounds us all. Thank you. Catherine Ann Blakey again. Sean, what does it take to become a lion? What does it take to become a lion?
Choose. Simple as that. Choose. I chose that day not to be happy or not to be angry anymore.
Yeah.
I made a choice. I said, I don't want to be. What does that look like? I don't know. How do I do that? I have no fucking clue, which is why I hired a coach and a mentor. But I made a choice that I didn't want to feel the way that I felt the night before ever again. I didn't want that pain in my heart. I didn't want that pain in my feeling. And I think the universe is a beautiful place. I believe in God. I believe that there's something way bigger than me, way stronger than me. I've seen 3 children come out of a woman's vagina. Okay, that didn't happen by 2 rocks colliding in the cosmos, and all of a sudden we have this beauty. I believe something put this all together. Whether you believe that or not, I don't really care. But like, I believe that the universe is conspiring for me, for you. And we've been programmed that life's hard, man. It's fucking hard, and you just got to endure it. And I don't believe that. I believe that the universe is waiting for you to say, I'm fucking done. I'm ready to thrive. I'm ready to become a lion. And as soon as you do that, pay attention. Watch what happens. But make that declaration, make that choice, and then work towards that choice. And then everything else becomes clear. You get rid of the people you don't need. The doors open up. You see clearly how to act, how to live. Like, I don't teach. There's not a single person in the lion's den that will say that I've reinvented the wheel. I'll admit, I don't know. I can't make water any more wet than it already is. I can't make the wheel any more round than it already is. What I do is I see things from a different angle. And that's what a coach does. That's what a mentor does, is they say, what about this? Have you considered this? What if this 1 degree, I've got multimillionaires in this group. I've got millionaires. I have people that are literally like scraping by month to month, paycheck to paycheck. But everybody's about the same thing. I want more. I am greedy. I want to be stronger. I want to be happier. I want to feel more love. I want to create more. Which is why I love, the Lions Den, the coaching and everything that I'm doing with Lions Not Sheep, is it's people making that declaration to the universe saying, I don't want to be a fucking sheep anymore. I don't want to be a sheep. I don't want to be a sheep. I want to be a freaking lion. And the second you declare that and start surrounding yourself with good people, watch what happens.
Amazing. Conley Ibsen, literally the cheapest 97 a month. The amount of value that comes from the group is worth thousands. Believe me, we're going to be sending out the link for anyone that wants to join the Lions Den.
This isn't a sales call.
No, it's not a sales call. No, but do you know what? You're touching people in this way, and I mean, these are the people that want want to be there. And that's the difference. It's not being there just by association. The people you have in your tribe want to be there. That's the difference. You know, they're turning up because they want to be.
Jeff Nemeth, it shows.
Yeah, exactly. Jeff Nemeth says, what's the first step to people stuck in the box? What is the first step people stuck in the box should take to move out of it? And I think that's the choice thing, isn't it, really?
That's a great question. I think one of the things that's really helped me a lot, and one of the things that I love teaching and coaching, you know, my clients on, is telling the truth. And that sounds so easy, but right now every person listening to this knows certain lies that they're telling, whether it's about their finances, whether it's about their relationship, whether it's about whatever. And I feel like the first step for me, where this whole social media following came from, is literally, I was this average asshole. I had a couple of hundred friends, and I was spewing all this negativity about my ex-wife and the whole thing. And one night, with my coach, my mentor's guidance about trying to add positivity, like my morning insights. I've done over 900 morning insights. What people don't realize, I'm not teaching people. I didn't start that to like whatever. I started that because I was spewing so much anger and just hostility on Facebook. My coach challenged me, write down a positive thought that you have when you study each morning. And so I just started writing. It almost became my journal. And now it's become a thing where literally hundreds of thousands of people read it. And I have over 900 of them in a row. But that's not for everybody else. That's for me. That was literally done so that I would stop spewing negativity and just create positivity. But like, you know, one of the things that I realized is, like, I'm sitting down one night and I told the truth on social media. I wrote a post and I said, you know, it was the day that I got to, the very first time after 2.5 years of fighting and police and arguing with my ex-wife, that I went into her home, which was like, dude, like, was massive. And I'm sitting there holding her brand new baby, and I took a picture, and I was like, I never in a million years would have seen this. Like, I was the biggest dick. I told the truth. I was like, I was an asshole. I didn't say but, you know, asterisk, but it was because she did, and this is what everybody does. This is why we're all stuck in the fucking box, because we blame everybody else for being in the box. And I just flat out declared, and I put on Facebook, I was like, I was an ass. I was an asshole. I did a lot of really stupid shit. I said a lot of really stupid shit. But if any of you could even know how much this means to me, sitting here holding her baby. And that was the first post that went viral, and it just kept snowballing and snowballing and snowballing, and it opened me up to tell more truth. And I just kept telling it, and I kept telling it, and I kept telling it, and I kept sharing it and sharing it and sharing it. And it's just become this like mission of mine to get deeper inside of me and then share those discoveries with the world. And it seems like all these people just seem to be kind of coming around and resonating with it, you know? So that's the first step to anybody. Number one, choose that you want to be a lion. Choose that you want to stop being a sheep. And number two, start telling the truth. It might be hard. I've had men come to the Lions Not Sheep experience that had committed, you know, things, and they had cheated on their significant other. And that's the first thing, is go home and tell the truth. It's the hardest fucking thing for a man to do.
But when it releases,
be like, dude, I'm like sweating, like I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack. And some of these dudes have gone home and told their wife, and their mind is, she's gonna leave me, I'm gonna blow up my whole world.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is that there's been so many stories of men coming to me going, dude, that was like one of the most liberating things I've ever done. Yeah. We're closer now than we've ever been. And these women messaging me going, I don't know what you did to him. I don't know what you said to him, but thank you.
Yeah.
And dude, you know what they did? They told the truth.
Yeah.
They just told the fucking truth. They told the truth. They didn't say anything else. They didn't show her how to reinvent the wheel. They didn't say anything that Jesus told them when he came down. They just told the truth. That's it. That's it.
I love
just
it.
That one thing. Truth.
Tell the truth.
The world explodes.
Wow. We've only got a few minutes left. Rachel Westby says Sean is the tremendous example for a no-nonsense, get your shit together, breath of fresh air. He's a gift that will have a positive effect on generations. Dude, you are shaking pillars and lifting lids, and you're doing it through just one thing, telling the truth. It's just phenomenal. Michael Henriksen, please ask about the vision of a revolution and the kids for the future. Michael Hendrickson asked about the vision of POTUS 2020. I don't think we got enough time to go there, so we're going to have to get you back on for that. Rod Himes, real talk, thank you. You've got a new fan in Catherine Ann Blakey, believe me. Ryan Colby's talking about your why all the way through. Please ask, what is the deep knowledge about the power of your body and the control of your purpose, and how that helps in life? That's the last question I'm going to let you answer on this here.
Well, I just want to say two things really quick, because Michael asked a question about the kids, and one thing that I have felt really, really, really impressed and inspired, and the reason that I haven't done a Lions Not Sheep experience in 6 months, my last one was about 6 months ago, and I just felt there was something more. Like I've become more in line with listening and feeling, and I didn't feel like I needed to do another one. That I'd done 7 of those experiences, brought a ton of men through there, and so I've been kind of on this quest of like, just listening, what's the next phase for Lions Not Sheep? Where do we go? What do we do? It's spreading like wildfire, but what do I bring to the marketplace? What do I offer? And one of the things that I felt really, really strongly about the last few months is the youth, is the kids. You know, my language is what it is, and it's for some people and not for some people, and that's fine. Like, I'm not here to change me to try and make you feel better, but what I realize is that, like, we're trying to change the world, you and I, and politics, and let's change the future, and we're trying to change all of us who are stuck in our ways and the whole thing. And here's all these impressionable minds that are young that are being crammed into what? The box. The system hasn't changed. The system is cramming them even more now with safe spaces and all this other bullshit, right? Like, these kids are being crammed into boxes like you would never believe, way more than me, way more than you. And I'm looking at it and I just feel this calling and this like power coming where, like, I want to have the men and the women that are the Lions help inspire the youth. And so we're going to be launching, in fact, as soon as I'm done here, I go meet with my assistant and a couple other people. I'm going to try and get into as many high schools and as many schools in 2017 as possible to speak. I got invited to go speak to a baseball team the other day. This coach has been following me. He's like, I want you to come talk to my players. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, you know who I am, right? You know that I'm going to bring some fire, right? You know that I might say a couple potty words, right? And he's like, bring it. And I'm not kidding you. I had a room of 35, 13 to 16-year-olds, just like, they were just like mesmerized. Afterwards, like, there were a couple kids who were like emotional. They wanted pictures, and we were like, they were telling me their stories, and they just were like on fire, man. And I asked them straight up, I said, how many times have you heard this kind of talk in school? And every single one was like, never. I was like, how many times have you heard that you guys have the ability to create whatever the hell you want, that this box that you're living in is bullshit? Never. They don't hear any of this because they're being taught and programmed this. And so, Michael's question, I just wanted to touch on that what I've been doing for the last few months is not only building the Lion's Den and working with the badasses that are in there, but I've been really consciously trying to figure out and be clear on what the universe needs from me and from this movement in 2017. And I feel really passionate about kids and the youth and really inspiring youth. And a lot of people say that shit and whatever else, but I want to really truly put I've got a Lions Not Sheep program for dads, for fathers, like Lions Not Sheep fathers, where it's just for dads, like how to be a better father, like how to connect with your kid, how to talk about things. Guys night out, guys nights, like you see last night, me sitting on a little carousel with my freaking 7-year-old. I want to support men and fathers and children, but I'm crazy passionate about that right now. So I'm going to be doing a lot more speaking, a lot more traveling in 2017. I want to get out of where I am. I'm only going to do 4 Lions Not Sheep experiences the entire year, 1 per quarter, and they're going to be small and they're going to be like insanely powerful. But I really want to focus on the youth. I really want to focus on, helping men become better men, helping men find their truth, live their truth, because that's how they'll change the future. You won't change it by trying to bullshit some kid through elementary, middle, and high school. We'll change the future by us living our truth and teaching our children the exact same thing. And that's something I've felt the universe like pushing me towards for quite a while. So I'm excited, man. 2017 is going to be a really fun year.
And I'm going to be part of that journey. I want to be a part of that journey. I have to be a part of that journey. That's, my rising has come from the whole fact of, working with young people here in the UK. I work with young people all over the world in that respect. I'm still doing a lot of work, but my work is mainly institutional based. I've got to, man, I also get that feel that sometimes it's a little bit too late. I want to catch them when they're 13 and 14-year-olds. So look, count me in. Whatever you need from me, I am there, brother, for you. I'm absolutely there.
To have all of your listeners, I know that you have got a great reach, especially in the UK and all over the world. Like, this is something that I feel strongly about, man, is this isn't my deal. Like, this isn't my gig. Like, Lions Not Sheep, yeah, I might have thought about it. Yeah, I might have come up with a t-shirt and got some cool, gun products that some guy sent to me, which is freaking rad. But like, this isn't, yeah, isn't that awesome? Just sent it to me. This is his company, Lions Defense. I'll give you a big shout out here on the podcast. Send me that. So it's awesome. But
Wow.
This isn't my gig, man. Like, I feel like I've been given, a megaphone, and there's a lot of other people out there that have the same ability.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only dude who's had a shitty experience. I'm not the only dude who's been through a bankruptcy and been through a divorce. Like, there's millions of men that understand and feel the same way that I do. And what I hope and what I pray for and what I work for every day is that the Lions Not Sheep movement can help awaken them, because I can't meet every school. I can't go to every place. I want thousands of fathers teaching their kids, thousands of fathers traveling the country, empowering, inspiring, educating these kids. I want to see this thing expand globally, and that's truly my hope is that, your listeners who are like, hey, I've got connections to this school or this school or this school or this deal or this deal, let's get you in. Those are the things that will start to open up this movement, is people getting involved. And I'm honored to be where I am. I'm honored to have this opportunity. I'm just trying to build what the universe wants me to build. I'm trying to live like the fullest, freest, most insanely epic, powerful life every single day. And I hope that inspires other people to do the same thing.
It is, brother, and we're all here. We're all here behind you on this. I can count on me, count on the people that are watching here. There are messages coming through about how great and how wonderful and all this is. We are out of time. We are so badly out of time. I wish we had 2 hours to talk today, but Sean,
you could have 2 hours. You know that, right? You're choosing right now.
I have to choose because I have the lovely Lavelda Smith coming on at 8:30. I have one more call to do, but that doesn't mean what I'm going to be choosing to do is get you back on a 2-hour proper win where we're going to do this for young people as well. Now, listen, Sean. Anyone that wants to hook up onto the Lions Den, how do they connect? How do they connect with you guys for the Lions Den stuff? Is there a link?
To, Lions Not Sheep Den, DEN.com. Everybody can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/S Whalen. Our website's lionsnotsheep.com. We're revamping all of our websites. January 1, I'm going to have a brand new SeanWhalen.com, brand new lionsnotsheep.com. We have tons of products that are coming out for Lions Not Sheep, through the brand and the whole thing. But lionsnotsheepden.com is how you find out more information on that.
Yeah.
SeanWhalen.com if you want to get in touch with me personally, or just go through Facebook and hit me up.
Brilliant. We're going to put all of those links up onto the post here. Mr. Whalen, it's been an absolute honor to have you, brother, and I can't wait to see you in 2017. Stay blessed, stay focused, and always absolute truth. Guys, that's it for this session. We have in the next 20 minutes starting, or 25 minutes, I've got Lavelda Smith coming online, but there are some epic bombs here. If you've come in on this late, don't worry. It will be available on the YouTube playlist very, very shortly. Other than that, Mr. Whalen, thank you very much for your time on behalf of Enterprise Lab and the League of Disruptors show. You rock, brother. Right, that's it. We're going to shut down from here. My name's Kat McConnor. This is the League of Disruptors show, and I'll see you soon.